I want to bring in Dan Eckhart. He is a defense attorney and a former federal prosecutor. He's also very familiar with this area because he lived in this area. And also want to bring in Jennifer Coffindaffer, who's a former FBI special agent with 28 years in federal law enforcement. Dan Eckhart, first to you, the Pine Hills area where this happened. Can you just sort of characterize it for me? I imagine that, you know, the reporter and the cameraman were there to cover the shooting of a 20-year-old woman. I don't know if that's, you know, heavily crime-ridden area, but tell me about it.
Yeah, first I want to, you know, obviously the victims and the victims of the family, it's a sad day for Orlando, but, you know, Pine Hills has got the reputation of being crime hills, and that's been that way for years. When I was a federal prosecutor, I can just tell you a lot of our cases developed out of Pine Hills, and it still happens to this day. There's just a lot of shootings, there's gang activity, there's drug activity there. And I think that reporter, I think that was Fox reporter that said that they cleared out of there. I think that was because the police presence was beginning to decline because they're finishing up their initial investigation. So that just gives you an indication of just how much violence there is in Pine Hills.
So Jennifer Coffindaffer, they seem to have made a lot of headway in the first homicide investigation at 11 o'clock this morning. The sheriff actually said the woman killed earlier was an acquaintance of the suspect. So it just seems sort of alarming that there's this suspect on the loose. And whenever we cover this, whenever we do these stories that a gunman is still on the loose, we always say the same thing to the viewers. There is a danger out there if the gunman is still on the loose. And this is a clear example of how people who seemingly had no connection at all to this 19-year-old suspect are now dead or fighting for their lives in the hospital.
Absolutely, Ashleigh. I mean, it was a homicidal rampage that this individual went on, a spree killing where he went from one location to another. And before the police could actually get him into custody, unfortunately, these victims paid this horrible price of being shot. And what we're always seeing as a link with these shooters is these long rap sheets involving gun violence, involving assaults, involving violent crimes. And something's got to be done about this, Ashleigh. We need to keep these individuals in prison longer.
I mean, the rap sheet alone, Dan Eckhart, was so distressing to hear the things that they had said that he'd, and at the young age of 19, aggravated battery, assault, grand theft. How do you have that kind of a background, Dan, as Jennifer just said, and still be out on the street at the age of 19 with a handgun?
Well, unfortunately, I see it all the time. Both as a defense attorney, I saw it all the time when I was a prosecutor. You know, I would guess there's a mindset, particularly in Orange County. Maybe that comes from the office of the prosecutor. There's been a lot of criticism amongst the law enforcement community about how cases are handled, how they're prosecuted. And the judges can only do so much. I mean, there's judges I think are trying to do the right thing, but a lot of it it's driven by the statutes and by the legislation. And I agree with Jennifer. You know, something has to be done. I mean, there's just too much violent random crime. And Orlando's getting more violent, unfortunately. I know it's the place everybody thinks of Disney and all the attractions, but there's a lot of violent crime in the city.
So, Jennifer, can I just ask you, they've charged, you know, this suspect, Keith Melvin Moses, with murder in the first 11 a.m. shooting death of the acquaintance, the 20-year-old woman. And they say that further charges are coming, obviously, right? There's a dead reporter. There's a photographer who's in critical. There is a dead 9-year-old child. And then that child's mother, she is in critical as well. What would they be doing at the hospital? Will the police officers be there to get statements, if possible, so that, God forbid, anything happens, they will at least have something on the record in order to prosecute?
Well, they're going to be poring over certainly all witness statements right now, not only recanvassing again the neighbors that were in that neighborhood because it happened in the exact same location. But they're also going to be certainly interviewing friends, family, relatives, hospital staff, trying to find out if there was any connection. I would believe there isn't going to be a connection. That, in other words, this is random acts of violence involved in this homicidal rage.
Just unbelievable. I have some other news that's just coming into me now. And it just, I mean, I thought it was bad that a 19-year-old had a rap sheet, you know, including aggravated battery, assault, and grand theft. But it turns out we're now learning that his criminal history includes more than a dozen arrests, a dozen, and they date back to 2018. And if you do the math to today, it's 2023, that's 5 years. And if you subtract 5 years off a 19-year-old, that means that this kid was getting busy at 14. The arrests began at 14. And I know I shouldn't be surprised because this happens, but when it amounts to the possibility of 5 people being shot by a 19-year-old, and again, it is an allegation at this early stage, but with this many people injured and dead, it is remarkable to me that someone at the age of 14 who had been arrested more than a dozen times in 5 short years to the age of 19 now finds himself locked up and being processed and mugshot for what will be likely at least 2 murders. Jennifer Coffindaffer and Dan Eckhart, thank you both. Much appreciated. I appreciate you jumping in on this breaking news for us. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.